if you're like, I just want to be my own boss, like I'm passionate about whatever it may be, and you legitimately want to change your life, like don't hold back.
It's the Best of Midland Texas podcast, where we will get into and talk about, you guessed it, the best of Midland Texas. That's why we named it that. In fact, I am your host, Ryan Shewchuk, and to my right is my co-host in love and life, really.
Yo, can
What?
I just be your wife first?
First and foremost.
Thank you.
Also my host on the podcast, Terra Avery. We have some amazing guests today. They are friends of ours. They are also business owners, entrepreneurs. I think they own 500 businesses. Seth and Hannah Streun, co-owners of Lost Books. Welcome to the podcast.
Hey Ryan, thanks for having us.
Of
Yes,
course.
thank you.
So you guys are the first guests. You guys are the OGs. Okay. Let's, tell us a little bit about yourself, and then we're going to go into some questions.
I am originally from Illinois. I lived in a suburb right outside of Chicago.
Wow.
Michael Jordan, forever.
Yep.
Miss you, bro. So when did you move to Midland? Or what brought you to Midland, I guess?
I moved here in 2012, I think. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
2012, about 10 years.
Okay.
10 years. I moved here with my family. I was 16. My dad was a pastor. I grew up at PK,
Okay.
and that's what brought us here.
And just so we can shout it out a little bit, your dad he's another business owner.
Mm-hmm.
He owns the Gillies food truck.
He does.
Shout out to, you know what? This episode is brought to you by Gillies. Are you born and raised here?
Born and raised.
Oh my gosh.
Never lived anywhere else more than like 6 weeks.
Wow.
Really? Where was it? Like,
I did a guitar building program in Nova Scotia for.
Wow.
I was there for like 7 or 8 weeks.
same, dude.
So
Wow, that's weird. Like,
You built guitars in Nova Scotia?
well, everybody knows I'm Canadian. Okay. So it goes me, Ryan Reynolds,
Justin Bieber,
Justin Biebs.
Ryan Gosling.
Ryan Gosling.
Like, there's 3 Ryans there, right? Like, I don't know what order you want to put them in terms of, like, whatever sex appeal. But, all right, let's go into the first question.
I'm on the wrong page. So.
Oh, okay, that's weird. Okay, so most people know in Midland, they know you as obviously the co-owners of Lost Books, along with Lauren, your sister Seth, right, and her husband Brian.
Yes.
Man, just a fantastic 4 this
Seriously.
October
Exactly.
on Disney Plus. Okay, so your sister Lauren, Brian, you two co-owners of Lost Books, but you've had a number of other businesses that you guys were telling us about prior to that. Like, how'd you get started?
I've always been like just into small business. I think my first, we were talking about it, and my first small business, I literally started when I was like 7.
Oh.
And
Wow.
I would go to our neighbor's house and pick pecans, and then I would shell pecans and sell pecans like shelled pecans by the pound.
Wow.
Okay.
That's
And
He
labor
made,
intensive
he made a lot
too.
of money. He bought.
Yeah.
You gotta tell him what you bought. What's the first purchase you made?
one of my first big purchases was I bought a goat,
Okay.
Smart.
First of all,
a literal goat.
what?
That's what my brother always wants to buy whenever he has extra money. He was like, goats. That's it.
What is it about goats that
They're
are they like a
cute.
cash cow, but a cash goat?
I mean, I don't think I ever made any money off of the goat. But,
Just your buddy.
Just just wanted a nice little goat.
And so, okay, so you said 8 years old, 7 years old.
7 years old.
7 years old. I'm playing. I don't want to age myself because all of us are obviously in our 20s, but
Obviously.
I was probably playing Super Mario Brothers / Duck Hunt. Okay, at that age, I had no inclination or no need or no want to go out and make money. So, like, how did that come about? Like, was it just instilled in you?
I mean, I was playing Duck Hunt too.
Oh, okay.
Like, it's
a great game.
Yeah, we were poor, so we had like the.
You had the like knockoff Duck Hunt.
No, they were
No, they
like
had the
the
OG.
hand me down, like, but
Oh.
it was still the OG. So
Yeah.
all my friends were playing GameCube, and I'm like playing Nintendo.
7 years old, picking pecans. Let's shoot towards your teenage years. You're in high school. Like, you're just like, I want to own businesses or what?
So I was in a work program through high school.
Okay.
So I went to school like half of the amount of time that everyone else did. And I worked the rest of the time. So I think the requirement was you had to work like at least 15 hours a week. And then it basically, the class counted as like 3 classes. That whole class taught like entrepreneurship, like it taught you just like all kinds of like business resource kinds of things. There was actually like 4 different classes, I think. Me and my friend, we tried to join like the class that was like office workers, and we're gonna get office jobs.
It'll be so easy.
We're gonna get some office. We're just gonna be like sitting at a desk, maybe at a doctor's office.
Just Dwight Schruting it up.
Exactly. We're
Perfect.
we're just gonna be sitting there, maybe answering some phones, sending out some emails. So we're going around town applying at all these just like random places that we've never even heard of, and like no one will even like look at us, and we're like, okay. A friend of mine was like, hey, like you could come work for my dad, and I'm thinking, awesome. So this was at Midland Frame and Wheel.
Okay.
And I'm like, yeah, they got like a little office up there. I like sit, it's like it's a very, very tiny office.
You were really stuck on, I'm working in an office.
It was an office.
He was
I was
helpful, yeah.
I was
It's
gonna
air
work in an
conditioned
office.
in there?
Right.
Yeah, it's
Like,
like the
it's
only
comfortable?
I
part
get
that's
it.
air conditioned, so it's real nice. And but I was in like I said, there were 4 different like classes, but I was in the office class. Like there was like office, I think there was like retail, there was restaurant, and then there was just like the labor class.
Okay.
That was like, I don't know, hard labor, I guess.
That you unfortunately.
That's
Yeah.
called, that's called
So-
prison. That's called prison.
So they asked me, they said, all right, what class are you in? And I was, the class. Okay. So the class asked me, okay, what job did you get? And I was
Yeah.
like, I got a job at Midland Frame and Wheel. And they're like, doing office work. And I was like, no. That's what I thought, but no. Like, I'm like going to be a mechanic.
Okay.
And so they put me in like the hardworking class,
Sure.
And which I'm glad they did. That teacher was like one of the most amazing like teachers, and like he owned he actually I think started a lot of the polypipe programs here in Midland for like oil fields and stuff.
Oh,
This
nice.
guy's like a literal multimillionaire.
Wow.
And he's teaching like 15, 16, 17-year-old punks like how to like
That's how you give back.
Be successful.
how to be successful. And like
Good for that guy.
very few people in the class are even like really taking it seriously, but like the stuff I learned in that class, I feel like maybe either sparked like the entrepreneurship, or it has helped with the entrepreneurship of just understanding just kind of the essential basics of business.
Mm-hmm.
So whenever people ask if I went to business school, I'm like, yeah,
pretty
I
much.
did go to business school
Yeah.
when I was 16.
School
in
of Hard
high school.
Knocks. Okay, so you graduate. Did you go to college?
No.
No college. Love it. I didn't go to college either.
That's not true.
I
He did
tried-
go.
I tried college.
He tried and then
It's not for
walked right
everybody.
back out.
It was just as bad as high school, honestly.
I did not enjoy
You have
college.
to like
Yeah.
study and take tests and all that kind of stuff. And not
I put
really-
college on my
On a
LinkedIn
schedule.
because I took like 2 classes, but I didn't like major or anything. But I went to college. I paid for college, a class.
Yeah, paid
If my
a little
son's
bit.
listening, college is great. You should go.
Do what makes you happy.
Dude, I was
Sure.
gonna say.
Okay,
I
so
mean,
no college. When did you guys meet? How much after high school did you guys meet?
Let's see.
I
I
was
guess-
I was still in high school. I was 16.
Yeah. So she moved here. You said
2012.
2012.
Okay.
You were in college.
Okay, I graduated in 2011.
Okay.
So I was 19. She
Yeah.
was 16 when we met.
Right.
So now are you saying that you were officially like a mechanic? Is that your job?
You were working part time there.
So through high school, I was working part time. I think I was getting maybe like 18 to 20 hours a week,
Okay.
because the shop isn't open on Saturday or Sunday, which was awesome. Because
Nice.
I'm like, cool. Like
Yeah, weekends.
I literally just leave school a little.
It's like an office job. You have the weekends off.
I left school at like 1 and then would work from like 1:30 to 6. So it's like pretty
Okay.
cool, just Monday through Friday.
And Hannah, what were you like? Are you not like? Were you an entrepreneur from that time too, from high school, or?
Yeah, kind of. I was more like, I got a job when I was 15, maybe even 14, like as soon as I could. Got my permit the day I could, got my license the day I could. I just was very independent and wanting to do something from a very young age. I did not start my first business at 7 years old, but
How many goats did you buy?
I have had 0 goats.
Oh.
I'm hoping
bad.
that's in the somewhat near future.
Okay, so you guys meet each other. You know, obviously it's probably love at first sight. How long you been married? I guess I should ask that.
How long have we been married, Seth?
Ooh, hold on. Let me put the camera on you. Go ahead.
Zoom in.
You know this.
I'm gonna put like music over this, like Jeopardy style.
We are coming up on 8 years.
Oh,
What?
wow.
He's correct.
Wow.
Yeah.
You can sleep in the bed tonight, buddy. Good for you. Not in the doghouse.
I don't know the day, but 8 years. I just keep
8
track
years
of
in
the-
August.
Take what you can get. You know
I mean,
what I'm
honestly, it's a little complicated. Like, honestly, the date is a little I don't know. What's the word I'm looking for?
I don't know.
That's a whole
That's what
nother
it
story.
is.
That's
It's
that's a long story.
It's somewhere between August 16th and 18th.
So it was like a 2-day wedding.
yeah.
It was, it was an escapade.
Beautiful, cliffside, Maui.
Whose idea was it to go, enough of these day jobs, let's create a business of our own? How did that come about? And what was the business?
So I would say, jumping from Seth quitting, leaving college, he was at that point taking on his mechanic job full time.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we went maybe 2 or 3 solid years of that. Would you say you working full time?
I mean, I worked there. I quit working there in 2009. No,
17.
2018.
2017.
No, 2017.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, 2017.
Fight. Go ahead.
So I worked there from 2009 to 2017.
Oh, wow. Okay,
So
that's
I was there for 8, almost 9 years.
yeah, you got your
I
gold
believe.
watch. That's like, I mean, for your age,
Oh, I mean, he's a pro. Like, he can still fix anybody's car like
yeah,
that.
for your age, that's an eternity at the same job.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
For sure.
That's where I'm getting at. So basically, there was I guess 3 more years. Yeah, we got married in 2014. So yeah, a few more years of basically just a routine life.
Mm-hmm.
We got married young. I was 18.
Oh, okay.
I was 18. Seth was 21. And we just started, doing things. We bought a house. We were trying.
At 18, 19.
Yep.
Doing
I was
things.
19, and I guess at that point he was 22 when we bought our first house.
Okay.
No, I was still just 21.
Oh, yeah, you're
you
right.
were 18 because we signed papers
You're right. I
February
couldn't even-
9th. We closed
Wait,
our
you
house
couldn't
on-
remember the day you signed papers? But you don't remember the day you got married?
Yep.
He's like, I remember that day I got a mortgage.
Yeah,
I remember that day.
Literally.
Okay,
I
I
was
feel
locked
like
in.
your
I
could
wedding
tell you the day we
should
got rid of that
also
mortgage,
be
too.
August 9th.
Yeah.
Okay, so you got married young, then you're like, I need to buy a house.
Yeah. So we were going through, just what everyone does. You get married, you buy a house. We're trying to have a kid at that point.
Yeah.
I mean, which is nuts. We were 18 and 21. But we have always had older friends. So all of our
Okay.
friends have kind of been older and going through those things as well. So that's just the steps we took. We bought a house and we hadn't had Nash at that point, but
Well, we always talked about we wanted to wait a little bit before we just jumped into parenting.
Yeah.
There was a lot of things that we just wanted to do, places we wanted to travel, and then you realize okay, cool. I think everyone says that, and then
nobody
actually falls
gets to
through
do that. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
I think I said, how can we have a kid? I don't even own a jet ski yet. That was the epitome of success.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At that time was okay,
How are we gonna yacht?
a big
in
screen and a jet.
France?
Not even a yacht. I just needed a Sea-Doo. And I was okay, I get that's then you're like, oh, I made it.
And now
Yeah.
it's you can get a kayak.
I don't have
And
a
you're
boat.
like,
I don't even have a trailer. But I got the Sea-Doo. So,
Yeah. But anyway, just going through the routine for as long as we did, it kind of got us in just a really bad funk. We were pretty depressed. We were not creative, not living the life we wanted. It felt like we were stuck, and that was just the rest of our life. And yeah, so basically we just, as we're kind of realizing those things, we
Well, I
talked.
left-
Go ahead.
So we got in a funk, and we were just it's just Midland.
Yeah,
Like we
there
had
you go.
friends that were leaving. Obviously, she didn't have friends that were leaving, but she has friends that live other places.
Right.
And, you know, they're thriving in these other communities and stuff around the Chicago area. She even has friends that, you know, live in Tennessee and like Colorado and these places that are, you know, that they're just like kind of thriving in their own environment.
Right.
And I had the same thing. You know, one of my friends left here and is, you know, helping out with a really awesome furniture building company.
Nice.
Okay.
And like just doing passionate work, you
Right.
know, what he loves to do.
Right.
And so our immediate thing was like, let's leave Midland.
Yeah. So that's when you
were,
started.
We were on this like exodus plan
Yeah.
of like we're getting out of here.
Yeah. And then
And,
go ahead. Sorry.
It wasn't easy because we were accustomed to a certain lifestyle, you know, being a mechanic at this point for 8 years,
Yeah.
basically. Like we were doing pretty well as far as like we were making a lot of money. So we're like, okay, so we can, you know,
Spending it just as fast as it came in because we're 18 and 21.
Because we're 18 and 21. Well, at this point we're, you know,
19
24,
and
24 or whatever.
Yeah.
Sure.
But
You finally got that jet ski. I get it. I get it.
yeah, we're trying.
In a second go.
No, we're doing dumb crap like going on a cruise, and then the night before we leave for the cruise, we went to Best Buy and bought like a 85-inch flat screen.
we did do that.
And
That's
we're
a
like-
true story.
Was it okay? This is when people do that on a spur of the moment. It's usually like 3 days before the Super Bowl. So did
We-
that have anything to do with it?
No.
Oh.
We don't
No.
watch.
And then they take
we don't watch
and then
sports.
they take it back after the
Yeah,
day
we
after.
don't do sports.
don't do sports.
So sorry,
They're too
Yeah.
busy for sports.
No, I grew up with a dad who
never missed a game.
never missed a game.
That's the worst.
So
neat.
one of the first questions I asked Seth was, "What's your favorite team? Like, who are you into?" And he was like, "I don't know." And I'm like, "You're the one. You're the one for me."
Okay, so hold on. Let me in my notes. Let me scratch off all the sports trivia that we're doing. Got it.
No, so we were on this Exodus plan. The best way I thought of how to do that was like, let me start a job that's in a similar field that I could just transfer to.
Sure, okay.
Like I'm working at a small mom and pop shop. Like there's no way, like, you know, I could get a job almost anywhere as a mechanic because I'm well versed and, you know, I understand all of the mechanics of it. See what I did there?
Do you want me to knock in a rim shot?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, I got you. I'll do it in post.
And so I actually started looking online, and I found a ad to work for Progressive Casualty Insurance.
Okay.
And it's basically doing what I'm doing minus the actual work. I just go and I assess the problems and pay someone else to do the work. And
Okay.
I'm like, that sounds awesome.
That's the Progressive is the one with Flow, right?
That's right.
Yes.
Yep.
This episode of Best of Midland Texas is brought to you by Progressive. You need insurance.
So I applied for this job at Progressive. I believe I was the youngest person that ever applied for like this specific position at Progressive, and then I don't know about applying, but I got the job, and I was the youngest person that ever got that job
Nice.
at Progressive. So that was like kind of cool.
But like overqualified and got like the top of the salary for that position as well.
Nice.
Right. Yeah. So it was like really cool. Like interview were awesome. You know, smashed it. And my whole plan was like, cool. Like if I work in Midland for Progressive for 6 months, then I can transfer.
Where were you thinking? Where did you want to go? Where did you want to end up?
How about you guess?
Austin.
Oh, is that the move in Texas?
I
That's the
mean,
move.
that's the
I'm-
move, yeah.
That's what I did.
True.
I mean, I did Dallas, Midland, Austin.
You were like, I'm staying in this. I mean, the state is massive.
Huge.
Okay.
Yeah, we love nature. We love outdoors. There's a great just outdoor life and just so many things to do.
At that
And-
time, we were like camping every time we went.
Yeah.
So
Okay,
honestly,
you've got to you're in Progressive. What was the point? What was the where you were like, we want to be the boss?
Yeah.
No more bosses, no more schedules, no more scheduling PTO. And what was the business and how did you come up with the idea?
So at this time we had started, I would say our first collaborative business was Benedict and Beatrice Threads.
Right, which was like vintage clothing on like we did an Etsy shop, and then we started slowly doing pop-ups. That's kind of when like the pop-up thing was happening in Midland. Urban Market had kind of started and stuff like that. So
Nice.
What year is this?
2017.
Okay.
Yep.
And so you're like, let's do an online vintage clothing store.
Yep.
And how did that idea come in your head?
Honestly, we were going through our own clothes and gonna get rid of stuff anyway, and just thought, what if we, I don't know, sold these on like
so it's
Etsy
not like
or
you were
something.
like, hey, let's try something that we've never ever done before versus we're already doing this.
Right.
Maybe we can make money doing it.
Yeah. So I think we kind of started the Etsy shop just to see like how that would go. That early on, like first week we made $300, and like that was consistent, $300 a week.
Wow.
Yeah, which was kind of cool. So after we kind of started making a little bit of money weekly, we were like, okay, we could maybe do like let's try doing a pop-up, and let's create, the name and the brand and an Instagram account and all the things. But yeah, so we basically, that was the very first thing we did.
It's not like you quit your job. You were just like, let's do this on the side.
Right.
Right. Okay.
Right. So we're still at this point. We are living at our house. Haven't quit the jobs or anything like that yet. But
Got little baby Nashy.
yeah, Nash was like maybe around 4 months at that time.
Yeah.
Wow.
The realization that you were going to have a child, how did that weigh into the aspect of like, let's still build this business versus like, listen, I like healthcare. I like a paycheck every 2 weeks.
No, we've literally never cared about any of that.
Oh, okay.
We've never, not that we haven't cared. We just,
Well, I would say there's a shift. I mean, I think we did care about those things because that's like what we were taught to care about.
Sure,
and that's what,
absolutely.
Sure.
That's what the people in our environment cared about. So like it
Yeah.
was definitely like that's what we were influenced to care about.
Yeah.
Right? And I think so many people are. I mean, it's just like, oh no, you have to have a 9 to 5. Like
You have to have company provided health insurance.
Yeah.
You have to
yeah.
do the white picket fence and
Yeah.
and it's like for the most part, we're pretty healthy. Maybe I don't know.
Yeah.
I haven't been to the doctor and like.
Since
that's
we
a really
started our own
long
business.
time.
It's a real sign that you're healthy when you're like, I'm not going to the doctor regardless. So.
Yeah. So
Okay, so vintage store.
vintage store.
What's next?
I think that just kind of sparked it.
Yeah,
I don't think we ever
definitely.
really intended to go like big with the vintage
No.
thing. I think that was just kind of like
That
it
was
was
just getting your
cool.
toes wet.
We're making a couple $100 a week just by like putting some. We were going to all the estate sales anyway.
Yeah.
And so, like, that was a big thing, too, is, like, I wear a size extra large, and, like, I guess most of the elderly people aren't as big as I am. And, like, so, like, I
we're
can't
like, oh, this is
fit
cool.
into any of the
We
stuff.
can sell
so we're
this.
picking up all the stuff we like, whether we
Right.
can fit into it or not.
Yeah, like I'm not gonna.
Yeah.
I can't even wear this.
Right.
So there's not even a
there are
question of
some
like.
pieces like that.
But you're finding cool
Yeah,
stuff, and
yeah.
you're finding like actual designer clothes, name brand clothes that you're
Mm-hmm.
just like, man, I can't pass this up. This is a Gucci jacket for $25.
Heck
Like
yeah.
I don't care if I can fit into it or not. Like
Yeah.
I'll find someone that can.
Yeah.
And like so that was really like kind of what got us started on that.
Yeah. And then I guess around that time you had been working for Progressive for a couple of months, so we're kind of getting prepared to start looking at moving and
Almost
where
a
we're
year.
not
'Cause
quite yet.
We're coming around back into into 2018, right?
Yeah, actually he is correct. My
Dang,
bad.
That's a
Dude,
first.
I know.
That's a first, bro. Good for you.
Okay,
Hey.
he's right.
You
Good.
saw it first.
He's right.
Yep.
It's
I like
on
that.
camera.
Good for you.
Yeah, whatever. We can
Okay.
cut that out.
Yeah, we'll just edit that part out.
Yeah, I mean, you did what's the blow up castles or something, right? Was that what it was
Yeah.
like?
Yeah.
How? Okay, so
Okay. So,
how?
This one's a cool story.
Yes.
It involves New York City even.
yeah. So, like I said, we were gearing up, ready to sell it. We were like, let's sell the house. Let's live with my parents for maybe a few weeks because that's all we thought we would need to be able to find another place to live. And we were at that point looking at getting like a camper or an Airstream trailer or something,
Tiny
what
house,
all the
Van
kids
life.
do.
all the cool
Yeah,
stuff,
yeah.
With a
And
6-month-old.
Nash was 6 months at this point. So then, we ended up staying with my parents for a while, but
2 years.
we moved into the parents. We're saving all of this money. Seth has a great job. We plan a family vacation, or not even a family vacation. We left the kids. We left Nash, and we went to New York.
So we sold our house, and then with the equity that we pulled out of our house when we sold it, I was looking at these water
There you go.
inflatables. So like the water slides, I'm like,
Okay.
you know, there's several people in the game around here, but like I was like, who's doing it the best? Like who's really paying attention to these things? Who's making sure that, because every time we rented
They
one,
look they're gross.
they're gross, they're dusty, like they're
Nobody
like
cleans
they're
them.
rolled up and sitting outside somewhere. So I'm
Yeah.
like, I can fit that need, and I can do a better job.
Well, and at that time there was no like huge ones for adults.
Yeah,
And that was a big one. That was a
So
big-
if you like look on any of the websites of the local places you can rent them, they all say like for children, you know, not for people over, you know, 300 pounds or anything like that. You know, they're all like, you got to be like 75 pounds or under to get on this thing. So I started doing research, and I found a company out of California that was making these, that they basically were like, I think the weight limit on ours was like 600 pounds total, 300 pounds like in like per person. So I'm like, all right,
Wow.
that's good. That's gonna be good for most people.
That's called that's inclusive.
That's
for sure.
that's good for the 95%.
Yeah.
And so with some of the money that we made from our the sale of our house, I just like ordered these things. I ordered 2 of them. So I had a.
He promised me that I would not have to help.
I mean,
I would like to state
I
that.
probably said that.
and you were on board with this, Hannah.
He
If
promised
she
me
didn't
that
have
I
to
would
help.
not have to help.
So at Progressive, I didn't have to work weekends. And so I'm literally thinking, okay, cool. I'll order these things. I'll just set them up on Saturdays and Sundays. And like it'll be a side gig. So anyway, we order these things. They came in. No, yes. They came in, and
We had already before New York, we had already been doing that for like 2 or 3 weeks.
okay. So on the weekends.
Yeah.
And I mean, it was an instant hit. Like as soon as we like, she's great with social media. So as soon as we like posted on Instagram, and that was the other thing. Like none of the other people that do this have like an Instagram.
Right.
It's like
Right.
because they don't, they have a Facebook, or they have
They're
like
not marketing to that.
They have a
Right.
very like
Group.
outdated website or something like that. But
Old
no-
Take an
school.
ad in the
yeah,
yellow
oh,
page.
yeah.
school.
Exactly.
Exactly.
I mean, they're driving around with the phone number on the trailer kind of thing.
I love it.
They're like kind of like the
Magnetic
old
sign.
movie theater where the numbers like all the like
Yeah.
7 sevens. It's
Yeah.
432 777 7777. And but that's the only way these people are marketing. And so we're like, okay, like our generation and even like a generation above us like does a lot of marketing just on social media. So that was our edge to almost everything, was just Facebook, Instagram.
Yeah, definitely.
But so we go to New York. Before we leave, my boss, who was like a new boss that came in, was just,
A couple months prior.
was not cool. I mean, it was just super frustrating. Like, it was almost like I felt like I was being kind of picked on. Like, I mean, it was very like,
Seth was the youngest. Like he just
like, yeah, still youngest, like at least in that position in the company, of like, I don't know, 20,000 employees.
Wow.
And this guy's just like, I think he must have been maybe intimidated by my knowledge in.
I mean, Seth's a
mechanics.
know-it-all. So honestly, like
There's nothing wrong with that. You know what I mean?
He can
Yeah.
relate.
If
Yeah,
you
really.
yeah, if
Yeah.
you know it, you know it.
exactly.
I mean,
And show it.
So
he had his job above mine because he worked for the company for, he started at the bottom of the company and worked his way to his position in a pretty
Yeah.
short time.
So he started from the bottom.
and now I don't know where he is,
It's not Drake. It's not Drake. though.
and that's okay.
Got it.
yeah.
But
Seth didn't start from the bottom. He just jumped right in.
yeah, it's like, so to everyone else, they're like, oh man, this guy like cut the line, like, but I was knowledgeable. Like I was also the person that they're messaging and they're saying, hey, like what's they send me a picture or something. They're like, what's
Yeah.
this? What's your assessment on this? And so it's like, I started working a serious job when I was 16 years old. So that's why, by the time I was 20, maybe 26 at this point. No,
I was 21.
okay. So by the time I'm 24, like
24.
I'm qualified to have, that job. Anyway, he makes me super mad, and he's trying to almost get me to stay. He's trying to get me to work late, and I'm like, my PTO starts at 5 o'clock, like today, like because I've got to get ready. Like I'm getting on a flight and I'm going to New York with my wife tomorrow.
Like in the middle of the night, not even tomorrow.
Yeah, like 4
Like a red
a.m. Like we're, driving to Midland International to try and get to Dallas to get to New York. I mean, he's trying to get me to work late, basically.
Sure.
And when we fly to New York. Hannah had no clue where we were going.
Nope, wrong
love
trip.
It was a complete surprise.
Wrong trip.
That was the next time we went to New York.
Yes.
Gotcha.
I planned this trip to New York.
She planned this trip to New York.
Got it.
This was the trip that you planned to New York. So we stayed in the...
We stayed at a movie set.
Yeah, we stayed at a movie set.
Or
What?
a show.
Yeah.
Netflix show.
What's it called? It's
Don't say it because we'll probably get sued by Netflix.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Okay, all right.
A Netflix show. I don't know. Maybe it has.
It had Jonah Hill.
Maybe had Jonah Hill. Maybe had Emma Stone.
Stone.
But anyway, she planned this trip. That's right. I did surprise her with a trip to New York at some point in our
Good for
lives.
Like
you,
a
buddy.
year or so later.
We're just talking like while we're in New York, and like New York is very inspirational. Like we're walking around and we just sold our house, and I just bought these inflatables, and we still have like not a lot. I mean, we have $30,000 maybe from just the equity that was left over after we completely paid off all our debts. We paid off
Nice.
our car, so we took care of all of that so that we didn't have people knocking on our door after that. And so we go to New York and we start talking, and I'm just like, I'm gonna quit my job when we get home.
And I'm like, woo!
I thought, and I'm like, I was scared to bring it up.
Oh,
'Cause
no.
I'm just
I'm like, do it.
I'm like, man, like,
You guys are brave. Brave people.
I would say maybe stupid, but yeah.
they coincide.
Fearless.
But no, I literally was like, I'm gonna quit my job when I get home. I'm like, I can't do this. Like, this guy's stressing me out. Like, just the job was fine. Like, the company, Progressive, is an amazing company. That wasn't really the point. The point was, I was like, we could run this water inflatables business. I was like, and if I just pick up and am doing it Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, if I pick up that one extra day, we were already making more money doing that than I was working at Progressive.
Okay.
Wow.
And so it was like, let's just like that was, I was like, we're just going to do that. And she's like, okay, do it. And I'm like, okay, cool. So we came back from New York, and I quit my job.
You said, suck it, jerk
Yep.
face.
Literally.
Yeah. Sorry about it, Flo.
I think he quit his job, and then I think we like typed up a letter to HR.
Oh, I had sent several letters.
You
to
like took
HR.
your blue apron off and you just like threw it across the
Yeah.
parking lot.
Through my little scanner gun that they always have in the commercials.
Y'all have 2 sons. How old is Nash now?
He'll be 5 in October.
Oh my gosh. And your youngest is?
He just turned 2.
2. We went to Nash's birthday.
He went to Nash's.
Okay.
4th. Yep.
Nice. That was fun. That was cute. How do you guys balance being parents of 2 very small children and being entrepreneurs with several businesses?
Still figuring that out. Honestly, we take them with us a lot. They work with us a lot. And then when we have any time off, we are just really intentional with the time off that we
Yeah.
have with them. We just recently put them both into full-time daycare, which is a first for us because they've always just done everything with us all the time. Or our parents. Our parents are a huge help. They both live here in town, so that's helpful. But honestly, I would say like our number one struggle, honestly, with owning all of these businesses that we own is the balance. That's still something we're working on and just trying to figure out. But
How are they liking daycare?
Holland loves it. He's a little bully though. I just literally I picked him up and his teacher the other day. His teacher was like, "So he did good. He kept his shoes on today, but we're working on using our words instead of just pushing." And I'm like, "Oh, okay. Good luck."
Same.
Yeah, let us know how that
Same.
goes.
Yeah.
Weren't they up at the micro market whenever the new part opened? And one of them said, Mommy, I don't like this daycare. Because y'all had them in like a little room off to the side.
Oh,
where you
yep.
could still see.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was Nash. He's like, so we just kind of set him up in there, threw an iPad in there with him, and we're
Grand opening of our third micro market expansion.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're mingling around. We're just like kind of right outside the door, and he's like, Nash is like, I don't want to go back in that daycare.
I feel like, I think as parents, first of all, shout out to the parents who had to had to homeschool their kids and stuff during the pandemic. I don't know when this episode's coming out. The pandemic is still going on, or it's done. We don't know. I mean, that's
We might have a new one.
Yeah, the jury's still out on that. But I feel like as people, as parents started going back to work, I feel like a lot of I think employers are sort of cool now. It's like I saw today. I think we saw a child who was like, all right, I'm hanging out with my parent because I'm summer break and parents got to work. You know what I mean? I feel like taking your children to work it's not just a 1 day a year thing like it used to be. Where it's like, oh, take your son.
I used to
work.
go to
Yeah.
work with my mom a lot.
We both grew up going to work with our parents.
Yeah.
Like that was, I know that, Hannah's dad being a pastor, like, especially in the summertime, like, she's just there like every day.
Yeah. I was on and off homeschooled my whole school life. So,
Oh, wow.
yeah. So I went to work with my dad quite a bit.
And I would go to work with my dad like all through the summer. He worked at a High Sky Children's Ranch. And so he was the maintenance guy, the property manager. So we just, ride around the truck or, going around fixing holes in the wall where, angry teenagers slammed the door
Yeah.
and knocked it off the hinges or, just whatever was going on.
Nash still doesn't know what we do.
Yeah, Nash
We
is
ask
really
him all
funny
the
to
time.
ask what we do. 'Cause
Yeah.
he's like, at this point he knows lost books, so it's
Yeah.
cool.
Okay.
But he also every time, so we just went to Arkansas. We're driving through Little Rock, like on the interstate, and you can see the downtown buildings of Little Rock. Actually, it started in Dallas.
Every city we pass through.
If we get to any like
Where you can
any
see a
any
downtown.
notable downtown or like high rise or skyscraper buildings, he just immediately associates it with lost books.
He says, "We're almost to Lost Books, Daddy. We're almost to
And
Lost
it's like the
Books."
funniest thing.
Yeah.
And like maybe he's onto something.
Yeah.
Right.
I
He's
mean,
basically
maybe
saying
he's
like
manifesting
every
this.
downtown needs a lost book.
That's what I think
Dad.
he's saying. So future of lost books, once I'm out of the way, like every downtown.
Paving the
Yeah.
way.
Yeah.
No worries.
Kidding.
No worries. So okay, so water and okay, so wait, let's go back. Let's do this whole timeline. Shelling pecans, mechanics, progressive, water inflatables. Okay, there's probably some
Adult-sized.
adult size, yes, inclusive water inflatables. How does Lost Books fit into this? Like, what is that leap like? Because this is like, okay, we're gonna own a brick and mortar food and beverage business. How's that start?
Yeah, I guess Lost Books is kind of like our newest business,
Okay.
right?
Yeah,
Am I
yeah.
right by saying that?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I mean, we might have one, I guess, that's
Yeah.
younger, but it's the same. It's the same kind of thing, I guess. So, Lauren, my sister, was working for Gary Glasscock at the time, and he owns East Wall and West Wall Tower, as well as like many other buildings.
Okay.
But he's a pretty well known building owner here in Midland. She's working for him as like receptionist, and then she's also kind of working as an agent, basically, to
She's
just
like
kind
a
of
property
fill those
manager.
property manager
Property manager.
job. And so she's like working to fill space. We had basically just quit our jobs. We're doing WTX rentals.
We don't know what we're doing next.
We don't know what we're doing next. We're just like going around. We're just like looking at some spaces. I don't even remember how the conversation started as far as like us going and looking at the specific space that we did. But like somehow we end up in this space and it's in the building. It's an old like cafe. I think it's called Cafe Maracay. And it's like really well decorated with like plaster Cuba on the wall and like baby blue ceilings.
I have pictures. You could insert them if you
You
want.
should.
And
Okay. I'll figure out how to do that.
He's got to Google that.
I'll Google it.
but so if there's photos, it'll be great because if you've ever been to what I'm about to say, like you'll be like, wow, that's crazy. But so we came up with this idea of we're gonna open a like French style restaurant.
Okay.
So for like a French bistro essentially.
Cute.
And I'm like, there's, they're telling me there's like, roughly, what do they say, like 5,500 people that office in that building or something crazy like that.
I
can't
don't even
Or
remember.
within that like block maybe.
Okay.
Is what
Yeah,
they were
maybe.
saying.
A
But,
lot. We did our math on that.
And they're like, and they're all getting in their car and driving off somewhere to go get something to eat for lunch. And so the initial idea for Font, which was my first restaurant that I started, was just to pretty much just be a lunch spot for these people. And I was kind of dabbling with the idea of doing these like dinners that were like super exclusive and like, just very not Midland, very like New York, very Austin, very
To get
France.
to be in the know.
yeah, like
Exclusive.
like a home bistro.
Yeah,
Okay.
Like, was really kind of the initial goal for that, I guess. We started that and we put like probably the rest of that money from the equity of our house like into it. And that was in October. So I quit my job in July, was running WTX Rentals through to October. The business like really kind of slouched off as soon as school started. I was still the rentals business. I was still getting a lot of weekend stuff, but throughout the week was like super slow.
We were thinking at that point, you almost talked about being a teacher, like becoming a teacher. That's what you were wanting to do. We weren't even thinking about like.
Oh, that's weird.
Yeah. Yes. So we had no idea. Like we had no idea what we were gonna do next, but you were gonna go back to work and be a teacher. Yeah, it is weird. Whatever. Anyway, Font happened.
Yeah, so we did Font instead.
But
so.
one of the things signing on with Font was the building owner was like, if you sign a lease with me for this space, you guys can have the corner space where Lost Books is. You can have the corner space as soon as it's available. And we didn't know if that would be that same year, 5 years, 10 years. This was 2018 going in, or was it 2019?
No, it was 2018.
2018. Yeah,
October
we
4th
started
of 2018 was our first
2018.
dinner.
Okay. And when did you officially open?
October 4th, 2018.
Font.
Font. Right. Okay.
And then 2020, we were able to get Lost Books, start construction on Lost Books in 2020.
During
The pandemic.
the pandemic.
Correct.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody told us not to.
Sure.
Font took a big hit. We were like really coming into 2019. Is that when it all started? Or is it 2020?
2020.
2020. That's right. Okay.
Yeah.
So we went all the way through.
2019 was like our first full year.
Yeah, it was our first full year of Font, and it was an amazing year. Like we were
Right.
like making these awesome strides. So we're rolling into 2020, and I'm booked out. Like our dinners are booked out. We've got stuff booked out probably 6 months in advance.
Wow.
And I've got caterings booked out. I've got all this stuff booked out. And she's like, this like thing, the sickness is going around or whatever. And it's like, it's because people are eating bats and like weird crap like that, And I'm literally like, all right, well, if you don't want to get sick, like
Just don't eat the
I just
bats.
wouldn't eat a bat.
But so y'all had all these like catering things and all that lined up, so like that just was
Yeah,
all,
Font
like,
just basically.
Yeah, Font.
We tried the whole delivery thing, which this community was like really great during that time.
Yeah.
Everyone ordered food delivered from all of these
Well, I think
restaurants.
regardless of what's going on in Midland, people love to eat out here.
Yeah,
So
Yeah.
definitely.
like,
I think
they're
when I was
like, heck yeah, now I can have this delivered to me.
Well, yeah, and at the time, I think just no one was, because of COVID, no one was wanting to get out. And it's
Yeah.
just like half the restaurants were only, really open for takeout or,
Right.
the other people, other smaller guys like us were doing different delivery stuff as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, we ultimately like closed that because there was nobody officing downtown anymore at that point.
Yeah, so we
Everybody
just
was
weren't even really going. I was going downtown just to make soup and then, loading it up, and it worked pretty well for us. I think we had a pretty cold spring,
Yeah.
and it was going really well. I started doing other dinners, like whenever it started getting a little warmer. I was doing just like, I mean, we were doing everything we could.
Everything
Yeah.
we could.
Wow.
Because at that time, we
decided we were doing this full time.
yeah,
You're like- you're-
this
yeah.
is all we had, because I was running Font and WTX Rentals at the same time, and so I would get up at like 6 o'clock in the morning, actually like 5 o'clock in the morning, to prep for farmers market, and then as soon as farmers market was done, I would load all my stuff from farmers market, go get the water inflatables, and go deliver those.
Get them all set up and stuff.
Yeah,
Wow.
and so like it was like Saturday was like the worst day of my life. Like
I mean, so you guys are literally like every aspect of your various businesses, like
Every part of it.
from interior design to contracting. Like, y'all
Yep.
do it all. Like, how do you juggle all of that?
We don't very well. Yeah.
we've had so many people like, and that kind of gets into like micro market a little bit, but like that are like, how do you guys do it? And we're just like, we don't take no for an answer. Like, we don't stop whenever it gets like difficult. We don't stop whenever someone tells us like, well, like, we've had construction people that are like, well, I just don't know how to do that. When we were designing micro market, we wanted something specific, and they're like, well, I mean, we could do this and it would kind of look like that, or we can put glass and you can put a sticker on it, and we're like, no.
Yeah, I would say to just really be intentional with everything, every part of it. We didn't trust anyone else other than ourselves to be able to like really follow through with that.
Well, I mean, Midland is full of a lot of like, like the busiest restaurants in Midland are chain restaurants, and it's like they're not intentional. They're not intentional for our community. Like they've got one set of rules, and they apply that set of rules to their entire business, like
Yeah.
nationwide,
Yeah.
worldwide, whatever it be. And that was something that we definitely looked at, and we're like, okay, well, we have an edge here. Like I understand this community pretty well. I've lived here my whole life.
Sure.
Like, I know I know a lot of people, and like we can, maybe start just by being super intentional.
When we first visited, I think we were there day one.
Yeah.
We love to support
For the
small
soft
business.
opening, I think.
Yeah. And you could already tell that this was like an elevated type of menu, elevated type of cuisine.
I really wanted something that everything was unusual, and I think that's pretty common in what's called New American cuisine. You're seeing a lot of these guys in Austin that are just kind of putting some odd stuff out there. They're trying to get as much farm to table stuff as they can, like very intentional food, and intentionally like building our menu on what I feel like is missing from the community.
The food has always been so good.
Yeah.
And you guys have always taken Ryan out of his comfort zone. Like, what was the dish that you had for the wine club? Don't get mad at me.
I'm not. I love it.
Where it had the quail egg.
The tartare.
Yes.
Once a month, the club members would come and for an exclusive dinner that night, right? Like 4 or 5 course meal
With wine pairing.
with wine pairings. Listen, my wife loves wine, and as a very supportive husband, I'm like, let's do this. And it really made me feel like,
Sophisticated.
yeah. You know what I mean? Because that's not normally my vibe. And I was like, yeah, we're gonna go out. We're gonna eat amazing food, have some wine, probably meet, rub shoulders with Midland's elite. And then Seth rolls out, hey, here's some tartare with quail egg, and I was like, oh boy,
This
Not
is going to
that
be a
fancy.
long night.
it's gonna be. Yeah, I was like, hey, let me
It was
get
so
that whole
pretty.
bottle of wine there. But I tried it.
You did. And it was good.
It was great.
I think actually your son who's visiting us right now
Yeah.
was also here at that time, and we got home. I'm like, your dad ate a
Right.
quail egg.
I just, I've been particular since a kid, and eggs and raw meat hadn't been a part of that. But as a growing adult, you know what I mean,
In your
maturing
20s.
clearly in my late 20s, I was like, it's time to eat some quail eggs. For
The
you-
fact that y'all can get him to try things that I've begged him to try, and he's
Yeah, I
like,
won't do
nah,
for
nah, 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 I'm not doing it. But if Hannah and Seth make it, he's like, done.
Yeah, I mean, that's out of respect. At one point, I wanted to go to culinary school, but wait a second. Are they going to make me eat mayo
And
Well-
eggs.
and eggs? I would drop out.
I'm gonna get you a shirt, and it's just gonna say mayo and eggs.
Is it because mayonnaise is made from eggs that you don't like mayonnaise, or
He
like?
doesn't
He
like
probably doesn't
anything
even know
white
that.
and creamy.
No, it's like yeah, that's getting cut out. So no big deal. What I wanted to say about you not going to culinary school is and me wanting to go to culinary school, but I was just too afraid. I really admire the fact that you weren't formally trained. Didn't stop you. You're like, I'm going to do this, right? Like, there have been times where Hannah will be like, Seth made this dish for us last night, and just for dinner, right? It wasn't for a group of people. It was just like for you two and the kids.
Just
And-
like a casual Wednesday night.
yeah, with some butter chicken and stuff like that. And I'll be like, listen, please don't tell Terra this, because then she's going to expect me to make something more than air fried chicken and corn.
So last year, y'all won a pretty substantial amount of money to, I guess, essentially take Lost Books to the next level. What was that competition, and what was the process like?
So the competition was the Midland Entrepreneurial Challenge.
Okay.
This is put on by
UTPB.
UTPB. It's mainly put on by MDC, which is the
MDC.
Midland Development Corp.
Okay.
They basically go to City of Midland, and they for all of their funding, I think they all have to kind of agree on it. But they get $500,000 from the City of Midland to create this grant program, basically.
Wow.
And they partner with UTPB because UTPB has a business development center. So they partner with UTPB to do this challenge where you come in with a business idea, and we went to the first meeting, and they're basically like, you're going to come to these classes, and we're going to teach you, about like finance, about all these different things.
It's like a 6-month long.
Yeah, so
Process.
it starts in September. I think it ends in February or so.
Yeah.
Very cool.
And like I said, we went to the first meeting, and then my rock star sister went to the rest of the meetings, and I can't even tell you what
I don't know.
what all this stuff was going on. So because this whole time we're running this business,
Right.
So
Right,
it's like,
right. So Lauren took the lead on this one. That being said, we've actually gotten several grants.
got development grants from DMMD, which is Downtown Midland Management District. So all the people that own buildings down there actually pay a percentage of tax into what's called the DMMD fund.
Okay.
And then there's a board of executives that essentially distribute those finances through grants. And so we were able to obtain a grant from them to do micromarket. They've given us money 2 or 3 different times.
DMMD has given us money three times.
I mean, I feel like you guys have really changed the face of downtown Midland.
Just all the development and everything, and just with where we are, I mean, it couldn't have been done without grants.
Okay.
Honestly, we were gonna do it, but it's the quality we were able to provide was elevated because of what we've received.
Yeah.
And us getting this grant from the Midland Entrepreneurial Challenge was was huge. It was something we always wanted to do. Food. We always wanted to do something better as far as the patio area, and
Yeah.
really create a nice casual environment as well as a nice dining environment. Had we just been subject to building our own capital to be able to do it, then it may have taken 5 years for us to actually be able to put that money into it. But with this grant just basically being instantly given to us, it's like, okay, cool, now we can do what we wanted to do, and we can just do it now.
Make all these dreams a reality.
Right.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Okay, so what did you do with the money?
I built a kitchen.
You went to Gucci.
Oh,
No.
Gucci flip flops, got it.
We tried to be on a very tight budget. I mean, I built a kitchen, and I'm still building a kitchen. It's you know,
It's a process.
yeah, we're open, serving food, still building the kitchen, you know, always working on it. We hired a chef.
Okay.
That I think that was a huge part. So going into from font days where it was every single day we were open was the two of us. If we wanted to go on vacation, restaurant closed.
Right.
I can't remember. I don't even know what inspirational speaker it is. He's like an entrepreneur, but his model is like, you know, you build a business and then the first thing you do is replace yourself.
Okay.
And then you move on to the next role, you know, and then you replace yourself. And you move on to the next role and you replace yourself.
Okay.
So when you're working through the process of replacing yourself, don't get caught up on trying to find someone that's going to do 100%.
Okay.
So we're looking for someone that's going to do 80% of the job that I would have done. You're still involved in the business. You're still, you know, you're still the owner of the business. You're still the manager of these people. Like, you still have to put in, you know, the effort. But if you can get someone, if you can get a stand-in to put in 80% of the effort that you would have put in,
Yeah.
then it's a game changer. Well, and a real gift is whenever you find someone that's 110% of what you can do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Because those people are out there.
Yeah.
They are.
And I mean, it really is. It's like, and honestly, that's what I feel like we have right now. So with our chef that we hired from for Lost Books.
Yep.
I mean, very overqualified, and he'll tell you the same thing.
Good for him.
I love you, man. He worked in Regency Tower for Wolfgang Puck, but saw something that we were doing and just likes it. That's the key component, is being able to find someone that can take your place, that can do a good job, that can inspire you to do a better job, that can bring in, you know, ideas that you hadn't thought of before,
Right.
and we can really push each other for a much better quality and a better experience.
Yeah.
Nice. So I feel like there's a ton of young and older budding entrepreneurs
Yeah.
and
Like us in our 20s. Yep. Go ahead.
or late 20s
Late 20s.
in the Midland area. What advice would you give them on starting a business?
Full send. I mean,
Just do it.
if you're not gonna just do it, and if you're not gonna full send, then don't.
Yeah, then don't do it. Like, if you can't truly, and this isn't for everyone either. Like, you know, but if you're like tired of your situation, if you're like, I just want to be my own boss, like I'm passionate about whatever it may be, and you legitimately want to change your life, like don't hold back.
So basically, like, if you're passionate about it and you feel like it's a great idea, just
you're all-
100%.
Yeah, go for
and
it.
if you even if you don't feel qualified, I mean, you're gonna have to do things that you don't feel qualified for, and you're gonna have to.
Yeah, you have to build a confidence.
Yeah.
Figure it out. Fake
And
it
like-
till you make it.
And if you need to talk to people to get that confidence, like, talk to people. But making the decision to start your own business means that you're only betting on yourself. You're only counting on yourself. And so if you're a lazy person, or you're a person that can't, you know, if you can't do a good job where you work, like there's really no point in, you know, trying to start your own business.
Right.
Because
Yeah.
it's like, if you don't do a good job where you work, like then you really don't make
You gotta have
any
like
money.
a foundation already there.
Yeah, like you're working for someone else, like, and you're doing a bad job, like they'll put up with it for a little while. But when you're talking about a customer base, like they won't put up with it at all.
It's also going to be a roller coaster of emotions. I mean, literally, just like 3 days ago, I was crying in our office for like just a little
Aw.
10-minute crying session. Like, it's, you know, there's some really hard moments.
Yeah.
But the very next day was like, we were on a total high of like, okay, hell yeah, we're doing this. Everything's going great. We might actually be rich one day. I don't know. I mean, it's a roller coaster.
Yeah.
You just have to have a lot of discipline.
Yeah.
Like it's very much so, and you have to have good ideas. I mean, we've seen a lot of small businesses that, you know, were like, I don't know, and you know, they try it out for a little while, and then they're like, yeah, it's not working out.
Yeah, but
To
I
get
mean,
there.
that being said, we've also done that. We have started businesses, and
Sure.
you
That were
know,
like,
the
"Well,
ones that
that
we
one-"
didn't full send and give it our all are the ones that are not. They're no longer right now.
Right.
Yeah.
But I would say also, like, another piece of advice would be to look at remember to look at the big picture.
Yeah.
That's really hard to do a lot of times, but that's honestly what keeps us going most days, is being able to look at the big picture.
If you could go back and do one thing differently during this journey y'all have been on, what would that one thing be?
If we could go back, I think we would start therapy like way sooner.
Therapy, yeah.
Oh, really?
Yes.
We go to therapy.
We go to therapy. We went weekly for a little while, just individually, to the same therapist. And now we go together, and it helps us a lot with, like, we have a very interesting dynamic with our relationship. We work together every single day,
Right.
whatever. But this has really helped us with, like, even running businesses. I think, like, if we could go back and be, like, better at communicating, being more transparent.
Just understanding people better, honestly.
Yeah.
Like, so
like
that
that.
when you get kind of close to someone, you can kind of better understand what it is they might be going through.
Okay, last question. What's going on?
What's coming up?
Yeah. That everyone in Midland should know about.
Definitely should know about the food. Come out to Lost Books. We dropped our menu. We're rolling on it second week right now. It's awesome. I mean,
It's really good.
I don't think I could be happier with it right now. And
Honestly, I'm getting giddy for the fall menu.
Oh.
Like,
yeah, I mean, we will definitely do seasonal menus.
Nice.
We are already,
I have a
anticipating the
question.
fall.
yeah.
How long can I get that cube salad?
Oh my gosh.
Like, when is that?
We'll probably change it, like,
I would
with the new
say,
season menu.
yeah, so our fall menu will probably start rolling in September.
Okay.
So you're
So
good.
I
You're
don't
good.
have-
If you
Don't
haven't-
hold
yeah.
us to
If
that.
you haven't had
Don't-
the
salads
yeah,
to come
please
and
don't
eat.
hold us to that. Raul, you better turn this part off.
If you haven't had that cubes, I mean, we came in and we tried the majority of the menu, I think, and I mean, we could have more. That cube salad. I mean, please explain. I mean,
Just explain the cube salad.
just the cube salad,
Okay.
please. It's so good.
So good.
So
It's like the perfect summer salad.
So basically, I wanted something nice and like visually striking.
Something, that you would order literally just to post.
Yeah,
on your
I mean, people are
Instagram.
ordering this thing just to take a picture of it.
I love it. As a person in marketing, oh my god, I love this so much. Go ahead.
And so I'm like, let's build a cube on a plate, and we'll sell it as a salad. And my guys, my chefs are like, no.
Let's just say they're ready to move on.
yeah, like
I bet it is a little labor intensive.
It's literally like
it's labor
like
so
a
you
Rubik's
don't want
cube.
me to come
It
order
is.
it every single
There's
day.
like a
oh no,
science to it.
we definitely do
we
want you to
definitely
come
do.
order it every day.
I'm not back there making it.
Yeah,
They prefer.
but Marco.
Yeah.
Holler out to Marco, doing a great job with the cube salad.
It's
Everybody
beautiful.
loves it. So the components are feta,
Yes,
Yum.
cucumber,
perfect.
watermelon.
Delicious.
What and
So we basically we soak the watermelon in champagne.
I didn't know what to expect, and I was like, cube salad, okay. And it came out, and I was like, yep, taking a photo of it and video immediately.
Yep.
So good. Oh, one more thing though. We had what was the roll that we had?
The yellowfin.
Yellowfin?
Yellowfin roll. You and I have talked, and you love sushi.
Love it.
So okay, so are you saying like you love sushi so much that you want to open a sushi restaurant here? Is that is that a possibility?
I don't know. So
It's not a possibility.
it's not a possibility.
I
Okay.
feel like with you guys, nothing
Right.
is not a possibility.
If you're asking us if it's
if it's in the works.
if it's in
I'm
the
not
works,
saying that like you're
If you're-
dropping an exclusive on the podcast or
Yeah.
anything, but I'm just saying, hey, whatever.
we don't have a current like restaurant like in the like a next restaurant in the works.
No,
But
it's-
that being said, by the time this airs, we might have opened
Yeah.
another
you
restaurant.
might have 5 more
Oh,
restaurants.
who knows?
I mean, if it's up to your son Nash, I mean, you've got a Lost Books in every downtown
Every
Right.
downtown.
Yeah.
in the nation.
Every high-rise building. Not even every downtown, just every high-rise
Oh.
building.
Every high-rise.
I appreciate you guys coming on.
Yeah, we love y'all.
We,
Yeah, thanks for having us.
yeah, seriously, thank you.
There
This
was
was fun.
No one else that we
I
wanted
hope
to
we
ask.
didn't suck this up.
No, you're great.
No.
Good.
I thought I'd be quiet the whole time. I feel like I talked the whole time. So
Yeah, he didn't shut up.
if people listen to this podcast, they'll literally be like, "Oh
If-
my gosh."
Who's
If people,
I'm saying all the people
When-
that
Attaboy.
listen to this podcast, that if they know me, they're gonna say like, "Oh my gosh, I've never heard him talk that much." So,
that's great.
I don't know. These days, it's getting a little harder to shut you up.
Wow.
And that's the next topic for therapy.
Yeah, that's therapy. Therapy session.
I don't say anything in therapy.
Smart.
All right, guys, we're gonna finish this out. What we wanted to say is, obviously, this is our first episode. If you're watching this on YouTube, please, how do they do it?
Subscribe.
Comment, subscribe, hit the bell.
Hit the bell.
Yeah, and if you're catching us on the audio podcast, please give us a follow, subscribe, whatever it is. Like, we love Midland. We support Midland, and if that's your thing and you want to support other small businesses here, then this is the podcast for you. So with that, we will close out the first episode. Thank you so much, Seth and Hannah, Hannah and Seth. We appreciate you.
Thank
All right.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, guys. See you on the next one. And we are
Turning on the AC.
turning on the AC.
That's not that bad.
It's really not that bad. I thought.
Which I work in a